In comparison to our favourite fictional universes, the real world can often feel a little drab. Instead of grand quests and heroic feats, we're faced with renewing our car insurance or unclogging the sink. So, it's no surprise that sometimes we want to add a little gaming magic to our world too. There's nothing quite like the joy of seeing Pokémon popping up around us while playing Pokémon Go, or the abject horror of having a 7-foot-tall animatronic trying to reenact the bite of 87 in your own living room when playing Five Nights at Freddy's AR Special Delivery. Augmented reality can range from fun minigame-esque titles to entire exploratory adventures that integrate community-wide gameplay features, all with the potential to blend reality and fantasy in refreshing and exciting ways. With so many beloved video games already out there and plenty more new IPs on the horizon, could the future of gaming lead to amazing AR sequels, companion apps, or real-life experiences? Well, we've got a few ideas. I'm Ben from TripleJump, and here are 10 AR spin-offs we want to see next. Number 10. Prey. If you've spent any time playing Prey, or Prey 2 if you want to get serious about this, I'm sure you can recall the paranoid anxiety of wondering if that suspicious potted plant, coffee mug, or swivel chair was actually following you through the space station, waiting for the prime opportunity to shapeshift back into their alien form before chowing down on your delicious behind. That's right, these sly creatures, while possessing both physical and psychic powers, can also transform into a clone of any inanimate object. While this can be a perfect opportunity for some lovely jump scares, the subsequent expansions for this title also showed how this concept can be used for a quirky hide-and-seek style party game as well. Basically think of Prop Hunt but with more teeth. The developers could go in one of two different directions, the choices being either scary or just plain daft, with either resulting in some great laughs with friends as you run around the house trying to determine if the Roomba has sinister intentions. Number 9. Mirror's Edge. For those of you who've maxed out your agility stats by having a hobby like parkour, this type of AR experience might be a fun way to blend the dystopian world of Mirror's Edge with your own training ground. The art style of this series is certainly iconic, so it would be great to see our bustling cities in the same futuristic fashion. Of course, you couldn't exactly free run while holding your phone in one hand and focusing on the screen instead of, the actual 20-foot drop in front of you, so this would have to be a concept realized with glasses of some sort to replicate Faith's first-person perspective in the game. Yeah, this notion is maybe a bit unrealistic and possibly unsafe at this point in time, but we think it's a cool idea nonetheless. If you consider for a moment the games that have poignant visual design and now imagine seeing our world rendered in that style, we hope you see what we mean. Augmented reality, after all, is about, augmenting our reality. These types of games could inspire us to try different hobbies, explore new areas, or to simply see the world around us in a fresh and inspiring way. But please don't fall, please. Number 8. Luigi's Mansion. Mario may have already ventured into the world of mobile gaming by running, karting, and doctoring. That's a big pill, Mario, where's that going? But what about poor old Luigi? Well, we think a mobile AR adventure would be perfect for some goofy ghost hunting with our third favourite mustachioed boy. FYI, the order goes Billy Ray Walrus, Tom Selleck, and then Luigi. The original Luigi's Mansion was a launch title for the GameCube and was well received, even though its short length was one of the sticking factors for much of the praise. However, a short and simple concept would be ideal for some AR fun. The player could shoot down those pesky boos in their very own home, even competing or teaming up with friends and family in a similar fashion to the series' latest installments. However, it seems like we're not the only people to think that would be a cool idea. In fact, an AR experience was created as part of a Japanese Nintendo Labo Creators Contest, wherein the Labo unit acts as a focused torch that can be used to search rooms for ghosts. And thankfully, you won't even need a Luigi board to summon these ghoulies. Win-win. Number 7. House of the Dead. This arcade title may have been more or less completely eclipsed by Resident Evil, but there's no denying that a rail shooter experience would be a perfect accompaniment for augmented reality. The House of the Dead Overkill for the Wii and Extended Cut Edition for the PlayStation 3 could definitely be used as inspiration for a more intense, claustrophobic AR installment that would see the player surrounded by hordes of encroaching zombies. We definitely want the difficulty to be cranked up from that of Overkill, but we certainly don't want to lose any of the cheesy B-movie grindhouse style that the series is known for. We'd also like to see something similar to the gun-shaped controller of the original arcade machine, maybe with a screen where the sights should be. Remember the Pip-Boy in in Fallout 4's Collector's Edition. Sega could even use that type of idea to combine smartphones with a light gun style attachment. Of course, this type of peripheral wouldn't be suitable for playing while out and about, but it would be a cool way of bringing the feeling of the arcade into your home. This gameplay style is the ideal antithesis to the large-scale AR experiences that require players to traipse about the wilderness. Rail shooters literally bring the action to the player, which in turn would allow you to shoot up some zombies on the go. Number 6. Final Fantasy XIV, and I apologise in advance for the murdering I'm about to do in terms of pronunciation. When your Dark Knight Vera, or Vira? I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Barbara von Bunbun. Anyway, its name is Barbara von Bunbun. It's a fun name. Is too busy grinding those dungeons for some shiny new glamours. It turns to your trusty retainers to do the peasant work for you. Currently, these assistants can be tasked with venturing far across the lands of Eorzea in the goal of bringing back precious crafting materials or sparkly treasures, with some adventures taking up to 18 hours to complete. Sometimes, though, when they return with a few chunks of iron ore or striped goby, I really start to wonder if they use their time to kick back and relax at Limsa Laminza instead of, actually finding anything useful. However, an AR companion game would allow players to actually take control of their retainers and instruct them while on scouting adventures. They could gather resources and loot via large-scale exploratory AR gaming to unearth mining resources, botany harvests, and fishing points, as well as providing the possibility of hunting small monsters. This feature could add another layer to this popular MMO that would also encourage time away from the desk by getting players out and about searching for rare materials. Better yet, it would allow us to follow the adventures of a tiny Peter Lalafell in a crossover between our world and that of Hydaelyn. So please, just take my gill. Number 5. Fatal Frame. The uncomfortable horror of the Fatal Frame series is perfectly illustrated by the player nervously lifting the camera to peer down darkened corridors, hoping that the halls are as empty as they first seem. The in-game lore states that the camera obscura is used to see, pacify, and capture tortured spirits, which would translate perfectly to an AR installment in the survival horror series. Japanese horror, after all, has always been known for its unnerving creatures, relentless spirits, and general sense of smothering despair. So combining this premise with an augmented reality approach would further enhance both the scares and the immersion. Now, before you head to the comments to shout about Spirit Camera, the cursed memoir, we actually want a good AR spin-off for Fatal Frame, okay? This DS title was a bit sparse on quality and content, let alone actual scares. Instead, we want something truly spine-tingling that makes you nervous to scan your camera around your bedroom. Please, just give us some exceptionally creepy yokai and more engaging stories instead of using AR as a gimmick. We honestly don't mind making a ritual sacrifice to a hellish god of the abyss to make this happen, so, DM us. Number 4. Soulsborne. Aside from the brutal yet rewarding gameplay and the deep, enthralling lore of the Soulsborne universes, there's something else that's synonymous with this beloved series. It's those great little messages left behind by other players. Even with a small word limit and restricted inputs, it's impressive to see how creative people can actually be with their helpful notes. Seeing short quips left by other players or being able to summon the help of ghostly spectres really gives some hope and light to otherwise bleak situations, so why not combine the community aspect of some AR games with the classic atmosphere of this series? We want From Software to really screw with the players on this one. Enable invasions if other players are nearby, have overpowered mimics directly damage stats or reset progress when players find treasure caches, even introduce predatory boss monsters that will actually hunt the players down instead of just waiting for a confrontation at specific arena zones. Make it bleak and tough, yet intriguing and rewarding for those who brave the challenge. Basically, we'd like to combine the savagery of Soulsborne gameplay with the humour of the community interaction. Everything we know and love about Dark Souls and Bloodborne, but brought to life in an adventure that makes the usual in-game difficulty seem like a walk in the park, while you're literally walking through a park. Number 3. Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter World pits the player against gargantuan titans in a wild and dynamic environment. Hunters must study and track their prey before the final confrontation, often identifying footprints, nests, or evidence of scuffles with other hulking beasts. This hunting mechanic could easily translate to a large-scale AR setting, with intrepid players using AR functionality to identify various signs of a monster's presence. In a similar way to how Pokémon Go raids operate, teams of hunters could band together to take down particularly powerful beasties, such as the Black Diablos or Kushala Daora, maybe. But the main draw would definitely be the implementation of exploring and tracking these ferocious monsters in our world. Alternatively, for those of you who've played Monster Hunter World, I'm sure you've utilized the skills of your cute Palico buddies, especially when sending them out on resource gathering missions while you're busy strutting your stuff in your new Rathalos skin boots. A companion game would allow you to send out your feline comrades on their expeditions and consequently transfer any loot or treasure back to your hunter in the main game. This would leave the large-scale combat elements to the core title while introducing a fun, exploratory aspect that contributes to both the gameplay and lore. Cat ear headbands are compulsory while playing this version, of course, so make sure you're prepared. Number 2. SCP Containment Breach. Secure, contain, protect. The SCP Foundation is based on the collaborative fiction project of the same name, wherein elite agents and scientists seek out entities that violate the natural order. It's a prime candidate for this type of experience because it already seems so real in its approach to its content, with the official-looking files and case reports adding a sense of authenticity to the whole presentation. Contextually, the AR approach could be explained away via reality-bending SCPs, causing a strange interdimensional mess and therefore outbreak at some of the facilities. So, we've got spades of lore, but what about the gameplay? Well, the player could take on the role of an agent sent to fight, capture, or evade the rogue creatures. Friendly, aka safe specimens such as SCP-131 could be used to locate and trap certain Euclid and Keter-ranked critters, just like in the current build of Containment Breach. The documentation, complete with its classic redacted information, could be gathered as collectibles, while also using the data therein to establish effective strategies against the monsters. With the roster ever expanding, we can encounter so many interesting and terrifying creatures in various environments. For instance, try outmaneuvering SCP-173 in the supermarket, or capturing SCP-682 in your back garden. Emphasis, by the way, on try. Number 1. Silent Hill. Horror AR titles could work in both large or small-scale settings, but arguably a smaller-scale environment would certainly add to the unnerving sense of claustrophobia that is so prevalent in the Silent Hill series. Thematically, this would still tie in with the core principles of the Silent Hill universe, especially when we consider the concepts of parallel realities and purgatory-esque dimensions that are synonymous with these titles. Imagine seeing your own home merge with the horrific otherworld, with mist rolling in under the doors, family photos rotting away on the blistering walls, ghostly apparitions taunting you from the shadows, your favorite TripleJump merch putrefying before your very eyes. Disclaimer, it would never probably putrefy. Probably not. I don't think. Just buy some, please. After all, when horror combines the familiar with the inherently strange and unfamiliar, we truly start to feel uncomfortable in our own skin. PT was creepy enough on PS4, let alone it happening in your own home. Konami could even incorporate old-school Silent Hill-style puzzles to really increase the tension when you're creeping around in the dark, wondering if that's your brother getting a drink of water from the kitchen or Pyramid Head looking for a midnight snack. We're so eager to see some strong new entries for this series, and an ARPT could really scratch that itch. You know, like that itch that feels like there's bugs crawling under my skin and the horrors of my insecurities are manifesting in reality. Wait, am I in Silent Hill already? Oh, beans. And there we have it. I'm not exactly sure what's real or not anymore, but I'm definitely excited to see what AR holds for the future of gaming. Which games would you love to see adapted to this type of technology? Could adding concepts like physical geocaches and real-life treasure hunts and rewards be the things that take this type of gaming to a whole new level? Why not share your ideas in the comments below? You can follow myself and TripleJump on Twitter here, and while you're at it, why not support the things you enjoy by having a look at our Patreon? Finally, don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. I'm Ben from TripleJump, and thanks for watching.